What is going on? And in this video I want to address a question that I see in my Raw Feeding Facebook group all the time, and that is whether or not you can feed your dog pre-mades and or grinds only when they are on a raw diet. So let's get to it. Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Scott J. Marshall II of ScottTheDogDad.com, and if this is your first time here, then please click the subscribe button below as well as that little bell notification icon so that you get notified about future videos. So in my Raw Feeding Facebook group, Raw Feeding 101-Learn to Feed Raw, I see this question time and time again. And again, that question is whether or not people that are wanting to feed their dog a raw diet can feed that dog exclusively pre-mades and or grinds. Before I answer that question, for those of you that don't know, I just really quickly want to address what a pre-made is, what a grind is, and what the difference is between the two. So what is a grind? First off, a grind is basically, in the simplest terms, a whole animal that has been ground together. So a whole duck, for example, a duck grind would be everything, you know, the neck, the frame, the meat, the bones, the organs, all of it. Typically with an animal like that, something like the feathers isn't included, but sometimes it may. So just check the label or read the description on whatever site that you're getting that grind from. Alright, so that's grinds. So now let's talk about pre-mades. Pre-mades are also ground food that typically comes in forms like patties, nuggets, and chubs. The same kind of chubs that you would see, you know, turkey burger or hamburger in at the store. Those 1, 2, 5, 10 pound chubs. The big difference between grinds and pre-mades is that a grind is exclusively one animal. So that whole duck like we talked about before. Now there may be some exception to the rule with this, but 99% of the time that's the case. It's one single animal. A pre-made, however, can be a mixture. So you could have a pre-made, for example, that could include the meat of one animal and the organs of another animal. So let's say a chicken meat-based pre-made that has beef liver in it. So it's not exclusively one animal like the grind is. So can you feed either of them exclusively? Yes, but there are some things that you should really consider. Problem one is that sometimes they are incomplete. And what I mean by this is that if you are looking at this from the whole 80-10-5-5 point of view, 80% muscle meat, 10% bone, 5% liver, and 5% non-liver organ, a lot of these grinds and pre-mades don't meet those specifications. So if you do happen to want to feed exclusively with pre-mades or grinds, you're going to have to do your research, find out where the holes are in that particular grind or pre-made, and fill in the blanks yourself. Problem number two, dental concerns. You know, dental concerns like this big gap in my front tooth. Okay, maybe not those kinds of dental concerns. Now what I mean by dental concerns is that one of the benefits of raw feeding is the chewing motion and going through meat and bones, etc. really does a great job of naturally cleaning the teeth. However, when food is all ground, like a pre-made or a grind, that doesn't happen because there's no resistance like you would get if the dog was going through whole meat tissue, whole muscle tissue, whole bone, etc. So if you are going to feed a grind or pre-made exclusively, then you're going to have to address that by providing something else that the dog can chew on. We feed whole foods, so we don't necessarily have to worry about this, but we also get things like the all-natural Rawhide rolls from RawFeedingMiami.com, and don't worry, it's not that crazy, nasty rawhide stuff that you see online. It's just all-natural, dehydrated hides that are rolled together. So check that out if you do want to feed grinds or pre-mades exclusively so that you can avoid those dental issues that will come along with feeding only ground food. Problem number three is variety. Now, a lot of the time when someone gets on a grind or a pre-made, they get, you know, comfortable and set in their ways with that grind or pre-made, and they don't do anything else. So they'll get their dog onto a premade, for example, that has, chicken, beef liver, etc., and all is doing well, but then they'll just keep going with that. And they won't try to get variety into their dog's diet. They won't get another premade even from that same provider / maker that has different protein sources. So if you are going to feed grinds or premades exclusively, still make sure that you are providing that variety and that you're getting multiple protein sources in your dog's diet. Problem number 4, and a really big one, is cost. Now, grinds aren't as expensive as premades a lot of the time, but premades are really and truthfully the most expensive way that you could feed your dog. It's just like everything else. You're paying for convenience. When you go to the gas station, for example, and get a gallon of milk that costs you $8, but that same gallon of milk will cost you $2 at the grocery store, it's because you are paying for convenience. Someone else is putting together all of that raw food for you, sourcing those materials, processing it, putting it into packaging, shipping it out to stores, etc. Someone's doing that for you, so you are paying a premium on that convenience. So to recap, yes, you can feed just premades and or grinds, but you do need to address and realize that there are problems like not having proper variety, possible dental issues, it not being complete in a lot of cases, and for a lot of raw feeders, what is most important is the cost, and you need to keep all these things in mind and address them accordingly. So there you have it, the answer to the age-old question of whether or not you can feed premades and or grinds exclusively. Make sure to check out my link below at scottthedogdad.com for the 7 simple steps to raw feeding. And remember that you don't have to be perfect to be an amazing dog owner. You just have to do your best every day and try to improve as you go forward. Peace.